Hi, welcome back to the channel. And if you're like me, you may be looking to move your field recording onto the next level. You've tried and tested various microphones and recorders. You've found a setup that suits you, and you've gone out and made random recordings around the place. You've been transported to a new world and you're hooked. But how do we move this new enthusiasm forward? Myself, I've been doing a little bit of research, and there are a few frameworks that you can use in the context of your field recording. I'll share my screen and we'll have a quick look at two of the basic frameworks. Two of the big names in field recording are Bernie Krause and Chris Watson. And if you want to know more, search them out on YouTube, because they are very well represented in field recording videos and documentaries. Let's move on. Bernie Krause came up with this model, this framework for understanding your field recordings. And if you have a look here, we'll see the very large circle is the soundscape, whatever soundscape you're in. And that soundscape is going to be comprised of 1, 2, or 3 things, either individually or at the same time. And they all cross over into each other. So Bernie's first label is Geophony. You can think about this in evolutionary terms. We're recording on planet Earth. What is planet Earth? Well, before life was formed, planet Earth is water, wind, rock, mud, sand, lightning, basically anything to do with non-life, anything to do with the world before biological organisms evolved. But when they did evolve, they formed what's known as Biophony. And in Bernie's definition, this includes all non-human life forms, such as birds, animals, insects, plants, on the macro level, but also the micro level. So before humans came along, the soundscape was formed by Geophony and Biophony. And then humans came along and developed language and machines, etc. Bernie calls this Anthropophony, and it is distinct from the other two. All three combined make up the total soundscape. Let's move on to Chris Watson. Chris Watson puts it into a different context. He doesn't distinguish between the different types of sound like we see in Bernie's model. Chris instead has made a triangle, and he's broken it down into 3 headings. So you have the ambient sound, and on top of that ambient sound you have incidental sound, and in Chris Watson's words, you have the holy grail of recording, the isolated sound. But while I was researching these two, I realized you can superimpose Chris Watson's model onto Bernie's model. If you think about it, that triangle can be put on the whole soundscape. But that triangle can also be put on each individual aspect of Bernie's soundscape. Each of these can be looked at as a source of ambience, incidental and isolated sound. That's what I think anyway. Both of these recordists has also stipulated that their models are not rigid, they're not absolute, and they are to be taken loosely. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to go out with an Audio Technica 4025 with the wind protection and record some sound onto a Zoom F3. I'm going to head to the beach and try to record some geophony, the sound of water and wind. And I'll experiment around a bit, then use the frameworks to see what we've actually got in the recordings. I'll head off and do that now. I'll share some videos of my process. We'll listen to some sounds and try and figure out what's going on. So we've arrived on the beach down in Pontlovny, which is just at the start of the Llŷn Peninsula, which is down there. Absolutely stunning location this. I've set up the Audio Technica right there. I'm recording at 32-bit float, 48 kilohertz, with a volume setting of times 32. The tide is actually quite low, but it's turned, so it's on its way in. The first part of the recording is to leave the tide encroach onto the tripod. You've got to remember what the polar pattern of the microphone is like. So it's pointing out to sea. There's a 120-degree capture range, so it should only pick up what's in front of it to a large extent. Now behind us, the way the wind's coming from, down over the back of there, probably about 400 to 500 meters away, is a main road. So a lot of the sound from that road probably won't be heard on this, but we'll find out later because it might. I'm going to leave that record now. Here's a snippet of that, and hopefully I will have identified some features from the frameworks that we discussed earlier. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go right up to the sea and almost put the microphone into the water, and we'll see what difference that makes. Another good example here, you can see the action of the Rycote cradle in the wind. And now, as a point of reference, I've come back from the shore onto the really short sand dune that we have along here. And this will give us an idea of what the shoreline sounds like from up here. So I'll give that a few minutes, see what that's like. And now I'm going to turn the microphone all the way around so it's facing the road. The road is probably 500 meters away, but I can see a lot of traffic going along. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. I want to grab my camera because there's a huge bull in the field here. All right, so our little experiment here now is finished. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.